I'm going to show you how to import somebody else's images and use them in invoke. It has to be made in invoke, and it's got to be made through text to image only. It will not work if it's image to image or unified canvas. It's got to be directly made in this for this to work. I'll just go ahead and delete this out here for right now and show you some comparisons. So I'm over here and I want to try somebody's image out. If they allow you to, they convert them in like JPEGs, they won't work. For this example, this is the image I made right here. I had to do a little bit of tweaking on the forehead and another application because it wasn't bringing out a lot of detail. So once I exported out of that program, it lost all of metadata. So to get this image and to show you this, you will open this up in a new browser, and you will press this and copy image, or you can right click and save image as. We'll go to the download folder, and we'll open this back up. And one way you can load it is just Control V this, and you notice nothing happened because it's in the asset browser. If you see up here this little snowflake icon to use all, it's the same thing as when you right click. All these are grayed out. There's no metadata in this. And for some reason you didn't want to load it. Let me delete a bunch of this stuff out of here. And for some reason you didn't want to load it that way, you can do it like this. Through image to image. And of course we don't have this option over here, so we'll just slide it over here. Of course we don't, it's grayed out. It's not going to let us use this. We're going to go ahead and delete that. So the next step is I'm going to do this car here. So I'm going to select here. This has metadata. We don't want to right click this and save this. We want to open it up in the browser. And we're going to go ahead and press copy. We're going to come over here and we can go directly here, and I'll just Control V this to paste this in here. And of course it's going to be in your this one here. We'll switch over here. Alright, for this to work, this has metadata. See, it's got a little snowflake. It's enabled, and you also click the info tab, and there's all the metadata, so I know it's got metadata. Another thing is, when I press use all, it'll put all the stuff in here as long as you got the models this was made for. It for some reason it will not switch. If it was made in the CPU, it will not switch over. So you watch all this stuff up here change when I just press use all right here, and it brings all my settings back, my prompts back, and everything. But it did not switch it to CPU. I thought, from what my understanding is, if you want it more compatible with other graphics card, to render it out in CPU. That's why I rendered this one out in CPU. Because if I run this out in CPU, I'll get the same results. And if I render it out again in GPU, I'll get different results. But since I know this was CPU, this is all I got to do. Then we'll press here. We're going to put the image to 1, and we're going to render this out. And before I render this out, I'll just switch to another board so you can see here. So I'll just switch it here before I render it out. And we'll go ahead and press here. And we're going to let it render, and sometimes it takes a little while, and you'll be able to see the progress through here as it's starting. I will be pausing the video. Okay, it's about done. In a few more seconds. And now this image here is the same image as this image here. I chose CPU. From my understanding, it's more compatible with other graphics cards, so it might be more compatible for if somebody else wants to try this model. But you gotta let them know what you rendered this out in. So this is the image I brought in here through the copy and paste, and this one is rendered out. You can see by when I switch tab, it says image here, and I'll switch over here to see this one. I have to, it's in the asset browser. That lets you know that that was uploaded through copy and paste or through image to image. So we'll go to, let's see here. Now if I switch this, I'm going to get different results. But before I do that, it's already into memory, and I got my image to 1. It would recreate the same thing without re-rendering it again. So if I press here, we're going to have duplicated images really quick. But if you start doing more than one seed, then you can it will produce different results. Or you can turn the seed off. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this image. And this time, we know we're getting the same results from CPU, which is highly recommended if you want to let somebody try it. I'm going to select down here. And if you see the text here, it says Advanced CPU. Now if I switch this little button, it says GPU. So if I run this out in GPU, I'm going to get different results at one image. So I'll press here. Now I got different results here, but they do both look good. They're just not the same results. And this works for invoke, and you got to have the same model. If you try to download this and try this off somebody else and they have a different model and they're using some customized models, it's not going to work for you. You got to have the same one. So if you go to the info tab, it'll let you see what was used for the model. So if you ain't got that, you're not going to get the same results. So you need to have all these models for it to load. And like I said, when you press use all, it does not. It puts all the settings back, but it seems like it's not doing the settings for the switching the CPU to the GPU. Like I said, this has to be made in text to image. It may not work if you are using another control adapter, say the IP adapter here, and you start loading images through here. It may not work. This is not 100% foolproof. So I don't know anybody that's tested it, so I couldn't get no feedback. But basically, I'm not using anything to add other images to it, because if I give it to another user, he probably won't have these files, and it probably might not work. But like I said, I haven't tested it, but I'm going to assume it would not work if you try to use another adapter and start uploading or placing images in here. It probably ain't going to work for somebody else. And from my understandings about the CPU and GPU here, I could be wrong. So if I had to guess, and you want somebody else to try your images, always render it out in the CPU. I think it can be more compatible across different graphics cards. That way your results and their results will probably be matched up with a CPU on. And if you're not wanting to try it with other people's images and you're kind of new, and this will be a good way to let you know that if you had an image and you said, hey, I can't remember what prompt that I used on that, well, basically it'll be right here. So you can click the little snowflake and it'll put all the prompt back and everything else. So if I delete this and just press the snowflake, it brings everything back. Or I can remove this again, change anything up here. If I right click, I can use just the prompt only, or the seed only, or use all. The snowflake on the top is basically use all, so it puts all the settings back. Example, I'll turn the seed off. I'll switch to a different model. I'll delete this. So we have no prompt. We have Dreamlike Photo 2. And we'll just switch this to something else. It was hewn, so we'll hit here. And we'll select this and see if everything comes back. Alright, we got everything back here, the seeds on, and my prompt back. So that way, if you ever want to use your prompt and stuff back, and you want to know how to do that, well, now you do. Keep in mind, when I click this, I need to open up in a new browser and save the full-size image. And that'll keep the metadata. But if you click this, right click this, save image as, We'll see if it keeps the metadata. So let me see what the original size was on that. So I'll open this up. And the image size is, over here, 1152 by 896. This is 790 by 615. So if I was to open that up, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this board real quick. We upload this. And we scoot it over here. The snowflake's grayed out to show me the prompt. If I right click, that will not work. So even if we went over here to text the image, it's all grayed out. So you got to make sure that you open this up at full screen in the browser. To recap one more time, click here, do not save here, come down here to the bottom, open up a new browser, then you can save it from there. Here's a website you can use. Sometimes these work and sometimes they don't. It's called metadata2go.com, and we'll select here. We're going to select a file. We know the woman didn't have no metadata, but the car did. So if we upload the car and give it a few seconds, and it's about done. We come down here, it says invoke metadata, and here's the prompt that it used with regard to car. So this is the prompt, and all this got the schedulers and everything in here. So, but if we go back here and we select this one, because I altered it in another program and I exported it, so it removed the metadata. I'll give it a few seconds, and there is no metadata. And we have no metadata here.